Hey moviegoers, welcome to the CineScope, movies under a new lens. In this episode, I'll be putting the movie Regretting You under the CineScope. Regretting You is the feel-good, make-you-sob date night movie you won't regret taking your partner to. It's a rare movie in today's world. It feels as if it were born out of the late 80s, the 90s, or even the 2000s, for they for sure don't make a lot of them today. The last one that had any theatrical impact that I can really remember was It Ends With Us. Interestingly enough, both are based off novels written by Colleen Hoover, and she's popular right now. Another movie adaptation of one of her books is coming out very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if the trailer of this new movie debuts on this feature on its opening weekend. She's become this generation's Nicholas Sparks or Robert James Waller. And for good reason, I suppose. Her stories strike a nerve, or better still, they strike a heart chords, especially in the movie Regretting You. Well, the movie opens in the year 2000, or the eve of coming into 2000. We meet Morgan and Chris, Jonah, and Morgan's sister, Jenny. They're seniors from the same high school on the eve of the millennium, and big changes are a-coming. Not just on the calendar, mind you, but the audience instantly picks up that each person might not be paired with the right person. But one of those big changes sets life's path for years to come, as Morgan tells Jonah she's pregnant. 17 years later, well, a lot has changed. Chris, Morgan, and their near 17-year-old daughter, Clara, are living life in North Carolina. Jonah teaches at the nearby high school, and he's now engaged to Jenny, and they share baby Elijah. Clara is in a budding relationship with Miller Adams, the not-so-bad boy of high school, who his father's past clouds his reputation. Morgan worries because Clara is nearing the same age she was at when her life took a serious turn. She doesn't want Clara to have a similar life. Well, it's the first day back at school, first day back at work for Sister Jenny after being out for maternity leave. Morgan becomes daycare for Elijah. Well, life goes back to normal, back in a normal town. That is, until Morgan's phone rings, she's summoned to the hospital. Her husband, Chris, has been in a serious car crash. She gets there, and Jonah is also there. He was informed Jenny, too, was in a car crash. There and then, but learning that both people are dead because both were in the same car. Chris was driving. The tragedy and coincidence are too real. Morgan's husband, her sister, Jonah's fiancé, were having an affair. Well, I told you it was a melodrama. There's more, but I don't want to ruin it all for you. But suffice to say, the title of the movie is a bit misleading because the movie really isn't about regret. It is about forgiveness, hope, and goodness. And we kind of need a lot of every bit of that today. Look, I earlier described Miller Adams' character as not-so-bad boy, and I did so for a reason. He's played by Mason Thames, and if you caught my review of Black Phone 2, I said he's having quite the year, and this is another example of that. He's ridden dragons, fought ethereal serial killers and now is a romantic heartthrob. He truly has matured as an actor, and he is comfortable in the job of being an actor. There is a tangible difference in just looking at him from the original Black Phone, and now, and I'm not just talking height and age, he carries himself with more confidence. I saw it in Black Phone too, and it's on full display here in Regretting You. His character, Miller Adams, isn't the bad boy cliche normally on display in these types of movies. He's not a tough. He's a tender-hearted movie fan. Take his opening scene. Miller is displacing a road sign. When Clara sees him, she says, "What, are you stealing that?" He says, "No, I'm moving it. You see, my Gramps' favorite pizza place won't deliver because we live outside of the city limits. So I'm moving the sign so he can get his favorite pizza." Mind you, he's taking care of his Gramps, who is dying of cancer. Meanwhile, he's a senior in high school with aspirations of getting into the state's film school, and all the while working at the local AMC theater. Boy, he really does sound like a bad boy, right? Well, maybe this is the new generation of cool kid, and Mason Thames pulls it off. It also helps to have McKenna Grace as your girlfriend. She too has been making quite the name for herself. Hers and Mason's chemistry is undeniable. Grace is able to overcome the screenplay's weakest point. You see, Clara is a smart kid. Not much gets by her. Morgan doesn't want to tell Clara of her father and auntie's indiscretion, and I was thinking, don't underestimate your kid. She's smart enough to figure it out on her own, better still, mature enough to tell her the truth. Well, the screenplay didn't think so, and maybe it was that way in the book too. I don't know, I didn't read it. But there's a pivotal part in the movie, and Clara goes to pieces in a way I didn't expect, because up to that point, I believed the character to have been smarter than that. In fact, I wrote in my notes, I guess I gave Clara too much credit. By McKenna's grace, all's well that ends well. Let me tell you this, and it's not exactly a spoiler, but you will not see a more charming, sweet ending to a movie this year. And that's in part due to the two young adult stars I've just been talking about. Well, how about the adults in the room? Allison Williams as Morgan Grant and Dave Franco as Jonah. Both are very good. Very good enough to want them to win and be together. You know, at the beginning of the movie, they are the couple that should have been together in the first place. Williams and Franco are really good together, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say they weren't miserable with their other co-stars Scott Eastwood and Willa Fitzgerald. They have to be to make the sting of not just those characters' deaths, but their betrayals, and make it matter. I give Williams and Franco credit for making it work on both fronts. By the time the end credits come rolling, you want the four characters to be exactly where they are. The actors playing them give you characters to care and hope for. Honorable mention to Clancy Brown. He plays Miller's Gramps. Brown has been around for most of my movie-going life. He mostly has played a bad guy. Very occasionally, he has been likable as he is here. Usually he's very good as a villain, but I like him as a good guy more, and I really liked him in Regretting You. Director Josh Boone is no stranger to knowing how to pull a movie audience's heartstrings. The director of the young adult hit Fault in Our Stars, he utilizes his talent here to great effect. Look, I get asked this a lot as a movie reviewer. Do you like romantic movies? And my answer is always, yeah, I like good ones. Well, good ones to me are ones in which I don't feel totally manipulated and hit over the head, as if there's a PA on set holding up a sign that reads, "This is where you're supposed to cry. Cry now, dummy." Well, I hate that, because the emotion is not earned. Well, Josh Boone earns his moments. He never whacks you over the head, telling you when you should tear up or care. Look, melodrama is meant to manipulate an audience to a point. It's an exaggerated event with characters meant to elicit emotion. And that is exactly what happens in Regretting You. I mentioned earlier how the movie is about goodness. And it really is. The only bad characters are the ones that pass away. The ones that you're following and caring for and rooting for are good people. You know, my mom asks me the same question every time I tell her I watched a movie. And that question is it nice? Well, with Regretting You, I can tell her, yes, Mom, it's nice. You'll like Regretting You. I liked Regretting You. I give it 4 stars. I would like to know, did you regret Regretting You? Did you regret watching my review of Regretting You? I really hope not. Please stay tuned. I'll have more reviews in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in and clicking into the CineScope. Please, I leave the comments open. Let me know what you thought of this and all the other movies I have here. And like and subscribe so that you'll get notification of all my reviews. I would appreciate that. I do appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much. I will see you at the movies. Take care. Bye.